All right, 5.1. Looking at 5.1, you're now going to be continuing with the slope-intercept form. So just review, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where b is your y-intercept and m is your slope. So in -2, it's a line that crosses the y-axis at 5, and it goes over 1 and down 2. That's the slope, over 1, down 2. So using that information, you're going to be, before what you're doing was they would give you this and then they would have you graph it. Now they're kind of going the other direction. So which equation represents the line shown? So we got this line right here, and we want to know which of these represents the line shown. Well, we know that the y-intercept is 3, so it's got to be plus 3. So we know it's either A or B. Now we're looking at the slope. Is the slope -2/5 or is the slope -5/2? So when we go over 1, we go down 2/5. You can tell it's down 2/5. It's not down 5/2 because that would be 2.5, and you'd be going down to right there. So it must be A. The answer, pretty sure, is A. There we go, A. Okay, over here, they give us a line and now they want us to find the equation. Well, again, they've given us the y-intercept, and that's -5. So we know it's y equals something x minus 5, because that's the y-intercept right there. So we can automatically fill that one in. Now we want to know what's the slope. Looks like if I go over 1, I go up some fraction that's over 1. So that's a little bit hard. But if I go over 1, 2, 3, I can go up 4. So that is going to help me know the slope is actually 4/3. So you can see right there, y equals 4/3 x minus 5. Now, they're going to give us just a couple of points. We're going to use the function f of x equals 5. And, oh wait, sorry, they write the equation for the linear function with values f, with the value f of 0 equals 5 and f of 4 equals 17. Remember, when we're talking about linear function, it's basically the f of whatever is, also could be written as the y. So when the when the y equals 5, the x equals 0. And when the y equals 17, the x equals 4. So the first thing we do is we're trying to find the y-intercept, and we know the y-intercept equals 5 because they actually gave it to us. It's right there. When x equals 0, y equals 5. So that's my y-intercept. I can go ahead and put that in right there. And then I want to know the slope. Well, I can take these 2 points. One is 0, 5, and the other is 4, 17. I can take those 2 points and I can find the slope by doing 17 minus 5 over 4 minus 0. 17 minus 5 is 12 over 4 equals 3. So that's my slope. Y equals 3x plus 5. This one is writing an equation for this one right here. Should be able to do that. I think you'll do it in your practice, but you know the y-intercept is 1. And then now we need to know what the slope is when I go. I could either do it -1 minus 1 over 4 minus 0. So that would be -2 over 4, which is -1/2. Or I could even look at the graph and see, okay, I go over 2 and down 1, or I go over 1 and down 1/2. So -1/2 is my slope. So the equation would be y equals -1/2 x plus 1, and that's going to be that equation. Let's see, I'm going to skip example 5, but I think it would be great for you to look over that. That's pretty much your problems. So it's, if they give you a graph like this, can you get the equation? Or if they give you just points like this, can you do the equation? And remember these points, it's f of x equals y. So my point would be 0, -2 for that one, and 8, 4 for this one, or -3, 6, and 0, 5. So that's how you get the points, and then you can get your slope and your y-intercept. each time they're giving us the y-intercept, because when x equals 0, they're telling me what y is. In the next chapter, they won't do that as much. So, oh, sorry. Moving on. 5.2. Okay, so go ahead and stop this video and start 5.1 and start it back up again when you're ready. 5.2, this is going to be write an equation of the line that passes through the point -1, 3 and has a slope of -4. So they've given us the slope, which is one part of this equation. The slope goes right there for m. Hopefully you're very aware of this equation now. Y equals mx plus b. You should be doing that in your sleep. M is your slope, b is your y-intercept. So now we don't have the y-intercept. Well, I could plug in everything else that they've given me, because a point, I know it has to make sense with this point. With any point, if it's on the line, then that means any point on that line I could plug into my equation and it would work. So -1 is x, 3 is y, and m is -4. So you can see they did 3 equals -4 times -1 plus b. And that would be 3 equals 4 plus b. 3 minus 4 is -1. -1 equals b. Now I have all parts of that equation. So I can do y equals -4x minus 1 is my equation for that line.
Mom, what time is pasta?
I don't know. Okay, write an equation of the line that passes through -2, 5, and 2, -1. So I don't have the y-intercept anymore. They didn't give it to me. So I need to find the y-intercept and I need to find the slope. Slope is the easier one in this equation. I'm gonna do -1 minus 5, and 2 plus 2 is -6 over 4 is gonna be -3/2. So I can do what I did in the last one, and I can do y equals -3/2 x plus b. I need to find b. So I can take either one of these points. It doesn't matter because they're both on the line. So I can take either one and I can plug it into my equation for x and y to get b, because once I have those in the equation, now I've only got one variable left. And you can find one variable when it's an equation. Well, yeah, you can solve for the one variable. So I do all this. -3/2 times -2 is going to be 3. And 5 equals 3 plus b. 5 -3, -3 on this side. 2 equals b. So then I can take that b, I can plug it right back in here. Take this slope, plug it right back in there. Y equals -3/2 x plus 2 is my answer. And that would be an equation for these two dots. Here's a little different one. Which function has the values f of x equals 9 and f of -4? Sorry, I said f of x. F of 4 equals 9 and f of -4 equals -7. So again, x, y, so there's a couple of different ways you could do that. I've got 2 points that they gave me. I could do what I did up here, and I could take those 2 points and I could find my slope and I could find my y-intercept, or you could take these points and plug it into each equation and see which ones work. Either way, you'll get the right answer. So the way that they did it is they did the slope first, and they did -7 minus 9 over -4 minus 4, which is going to be -16 over -8, which equals 2. So I know my slope is 2. Because I don't like working with negatives, I would have done 9 minus a -7, which is 9 plus 7, and 4 minus a -4, 4 plus 4. But it doesn't matter, get the same answer. Your slope is 2 on this equation. So if the slope is 2, I know that the answer could be A, C, B, or D. So that really doesn't help me at all. So now I need to figure out which one of these points fits with these. So we can put in the 0.9 equals 2 times 4 plus b. 2 times 4 is, they just picked this one because it was easier. That's an easier point to work with. 9 equals 2 plus 4. 9 equals 8 plus b. B equals 1. I can look here. B is 1. The answer is B. Give yourself a pat on the back. And then so we talked about this in the last one, but rate of change is really the same as your slope. Just when real world problems, we talk about a rate of change. Starting value B is going to be your y-intercept. So costing amount of gym membership is $33 per month. And then the initial cost. And so if we know we paid this after 6 months, you could do 6 times 33, subtract that from 228 to get how much we paid at the very beginning. That's probably what I would do, but that's the equation. They just plug it in. 33 is always going to be our rate of change, or our slope. 6 months is how many months it's been. We know we paid 228. How much did we pay initially? We paid $30 initially. So we're trying to find what would be the total cost after 9 months. So the easier way to me to solve that would have been for 3 more months at $33 a month. We could add 3 times 33 and add that to what we already paid. But you also can do the equation like they said. Okay. This is a similar one. We're gonna tell our cost. They're telling us the rate of change. They're telling us 2 different points on this. How much, so one racer paid $125 after 5 races, and one racer paid $170 after 8 races. So they just told you 2 different values. You can use those 2 different values to find the slope. 170 minus 125 over 8 minus 5 is 45 over 3, or 15. So we know the slope is going to be 15. And then we need to find the initial value. So again, we'll plug that in. C equals 15 times R plus B. You could do Y and X, but they're using C and R for cost in races. 125 equals 15 times 5 plus B, and then B equals 50. So they had to pay $50 initially, and then it's $15 per race. So that's your exercises. Good luck with 5.2.